2 o'clock, second floor. Reloading.
Cover me! Loading!
Move! Moving!
Yeah. Dude, where are the mags? Loading!
Reloading! Andrew, cover fire!
Dude, I'm out.
Out of ammo? Already?
Dude, you are the one who told me to bring an AK so I can find like fucking mags all around the ground. Like, now what? I can't find anything.
Get with the time, old man. Everybody's packing a Mark 18 nowadays.
Like, really? I thought this is the way.
Guess what? Times changed.
Shit.
Well, that looks like a Mark 18. Let's go gun shopping, boys.
Is that it?
No, I think that's GHK's AK-105.
Wanna take it?
I don't know. I think I will wait a bit.
Dead!
Hold him down, I got him! Well, what do we have here?
Man, this is the way to go. And look at all the mags. Alright, let's get this episode started with a little bit of testing. We finally got our MK18 set up. And let's start with the cornel test. For the cornel test, we will be shooting 10 rounds of 0.2 gram BBs. And let's see how the GHK V3 M4 system worked out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And actually, I was mistaken that this speed loader is not made by WE. It's actually made by GHK. So, silly me, mistakes. Okay, and normally when it comes to GHK magazines, when you charge the gas, they highly recommend if you charge 4 seconds. And also, a little tip is that when you got a brand new, there's air inside, you won't be able to charge gas into the magazine. So it's better that you push on the gas release, push out all the air, and then charge the gas. That way you can get a fresh bit of liquid gas into the magazine. let's get the test started. Alright, the gun is hot. And fire interval, let's set it to 0.8 seconds, 10 shots. Jesse, ready?
Ready.
Okay, fired in 3, 2, 1. Apparently the number seemed a little strange. The first shot, it was 130 meters per second. However, it drops all the way down to 120. That's actually quite a big of a drop. However, it seems the number is pretty stable. It's like going down, 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 down. So, you know what? Let's test it again. All right, let's test it again. Because the weather right now in Taiwan, if you look at my face and look at my arm, that you will know. The current temperature right now, it is 34.9, almost 35 degrees Celsius. However, the humidity, it is 61%. That is one frustrating weather to be in. However, it makes you can play gas blowback guns here. All right, 10 shots. Let's test it again. Fired in 3, 2, 1, go. That's interesting. So yeah, apparently based on the V3 system, it seems like the first shot it goes high. However, it just goes in a stable fashion that it goes down to somewhere around 120. So the overall average, I would say it's around 121. Personally, I think it can be better, but we'll see about that. All right, now the accuracy test. Okay, now let's get the accuracy test started. And as usual, that we will be using 0.43 gram BBs because, you know, that's what we use the most of the time in Taiwan when it comes to rifles. So I will be loading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 rounds of BBs into the GHK MK18. I was about to say Glock. GHK MK18, this is the V3 mag, and let's see how it performs. And as usual, that we have our target set at the range of 30 meters, and we will test 3 rounds to see like how everything goes. All right, Jesse, ready?
Ready.
10 shots. Fired in 3, 2, 1. Ooh. I think our machine just bump fired it. This way that you actually get to see like how hard this gun kicks, because this one it actually consumes quite a bit of gas into the bolt itself that gives that extra kick. So I think in that case I will need to adjust the trigger a little bit, make sure that it doesn't move so it doesn't bump fire on me. Now let's get the round 2 of the test started. Gun is hot. 10 shots. Fired in 3, 2, 1, go. Did that one BB just pass?
Bye, have a great time.
We will see from the footage. Not sure because, you know, my eye is not like super Hawkeye or whatever. Let's get round 3 of the test started. 10 shots. Fired in 3, 2, 1. It hits the target. Let's check the footage, and then since we're now done with the accuracy and the chrono test, now let's get back to the table and let's talk about the details of the GHK MK18 V3. Time for the unboxing. This is the GHK officially licensed by Daniel Defense, the GHK MK18 However, the version 3 version. Now let's see what's inside the box. The good old GHK box with a big chunk of styrofoam. No user manual. All right, then inside the box, it's actually fairly simple. We got this bag of something. It's a spring and a big chunk of metal which goes to the boat. We will talk about that. And we have the speed loader, which I was actually mistaken that, you know, just like I said, this is actually produced by GHK instead of WE. So this actually is one of my favorite speed loader. You know, you can make like small marks on it that you know it's 15 rounds, otherwise it's 30 rounds. And a small hop-up adjustment tool that we actually run into some issue with. So we will talk about that. The version 3 magazine. Feels pretty light. I think it's compared when compared to a version 2, I think it's about the same, but we'll see. And finally, last but not the least, this one is not the annual defense. This one, it's actually, the body says it's a coat. However, coat MK18. And the dust cover closes. Buy box. Alright, time to talk about the version 3. Okay, now let's talk about the externals. Let's talk about the externals. It's an MK18 that I think the external gets old. Alright, still, we will cover the externals. Well, I think this is something actually, you know what? Let's do a very quick comparison. Okay, well, the externals, let's talk about that. Yes, this one, it is Cerakoted. In comparison to the older version, this is my very old GHK Geisele, the URGI. This is the good old URGI that I used to take to a lot of the games. Part of the reason why it's not taken to the game as often is because I have so many guns for free. Anyways, all right. When I took the first look, I really think that the surface treatment it looked much nicer, much prettier in some fashion, because for the old version, since it's just regular paint, it actually, yeah, you get quite some scratches, and at the same time it gets that glossy finish. In comparison to this one right here, I think the surface treatment, it is quite even. So overall, I think the body, it looks great. However, when it comes to the rail, it's MK18 rail. This one, it's a really old one from RA Tech, and I think when you compare them, the color is slightly different. However, you know, when it comes to anodizing, it's always like that. You know, when you dip it into that acid water for slightly longer, the color is different. Sometimes if you take it long enough, the entire rail would have that gradient effect. You know, that's like whoop, and take it out very slowly. Eventually, the bottom one will have the heaviest color. So I wouldn't cry too much about that. And one thing I like is that, yes, the dust cover, it does close. In comparison to the old one I received, it doesn't close. So when you try to look very tactical, it's like, yeah. So anyways, the old one on the URGI, yes, it closes too. So this part, good job, because it tends to, a lot of the manufacturers, they tend to screw it up on this part. So well, I like this part. And that's it for the externals. Alright, now let's move on to the internals. When you're about to operate the gun, sometimes you might run into this, that you might think that your gun is broken. The charging handle doesn't work. Well, it happens on the real guns too, I guess. But it seems like the charging handle does run into the stock. So all you need to do is just pull it up slightly, otherwise adjust the stock, then this one will function just fine. Overall, the gun functions quite smoothly. And yeah, back in the action part, when I mag dumped this gun, I really think that if you ask me to find this vocabulary for the GHK ARs, I think for the version 3, I will call it wild. It's pretty wild. That it actually kicks pretty hard. It's got that wild factor in it. So you know what? Let's get inside the gun and see what makes it wild. Okay, by the time I open the gun, that I will see the brand new GHK AR bolt, and I'm so glad that they finally made this part straight. The old version, it's kind of like chopped in an angle that actually screws up your buffer. So you know that by the time it gets old enough that it actually gets stuck inside the buffer tube, which gets really annoying. So I think this mod is pretty decent, and you might be asking, then what is this bag for? This is this big chunk of metal. You see, there's this room, and then all you need to do is just tuck it in, and now this is one heavy bolt. Originally, this is already a heavy bolt, but you can make it even heavier. So that's part of the reason why back in the action part, it just kicks like. And then I would say that the gas efficiency, it's actually decently good considering how heavy the bolt is, and that is because they did some modifications right here. Let me take my old URGI apart and show you guys exactly the difference when it comes to the bolt. Okay, when we first look at the bolt, just like what I said, you know, it's angled. So every time when it runs into your buffer, that it just kind of all the contact is on one side, and eventually the buffer kind of spins, and then originally it's like that, and by the time it gets hidden enough, it opens up and eventually gets stuck inside the buffer tube. That eventually you have to use a screwdriver, to a very thin one, to kind of like push it out from the back, which gets really annoying. And that's another difference when it comes to the bolt, despite the fact that yes, they kind of look the same. However, you see the bottom part, the old nozzle, for some reason it's got this slope that comes to the air nozzle, which this part is cut open. However, for the new version, this part is gone. So that means roughly maybe 25.3%. So according to GHK, this actually helps and really improves the gas efficiency. According to the action that we did, yes, this thing does kick very hard in a wild way. And overall, I think the air nozzle, the air seal is very good. It's almost like a standard for like airsoft gun manufacturers out there. You know, if it doesn't do the air seal job, there's something wrong. But so far, I would say it's very nice. And despite the fact that yes, the two of them look quite similar. However, I don't think the parts actually go together. If you try to fit in a RA tag MPAS into the version 3 system, yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. So that would be the case. So by version 2, your history.
Emotional damage.
All right, in this case, you might be asking like, oh shit, the bolts, the parts, they don't go together with each other. Like, what do we do? How do I upgrade my, because yes, I know lots of you guys spend thousands and thousands of dollars on your good old V2 system. And you might be asking, how do I upgrade it to the version 3 system, right? Upgrade done. Now it's a version 3. Sorry, GHK, no, sorry. This is a version 2.675. I don't know. Yes, once you stick in the version 3 bolt into the version 2, it will give you some very nice performance. And then as usual, yes, it does take the version 3 bolt. The version 3 magazine. It goes right on. Literally, kicks pretty damn hard too. So that might be the quickest way to upgrade your gun, and then you can actually buy the entire assembly, entire bolt group out of Samoon, or otherwise just contact GHK. I think they do sell those separately as one single unit. And so yeah, your version 2 is safe. It's not like they're crying without any upgrade parts. If you want, you can still upgrade it, which just like what I did. This one is a RA Tech DD MK18 7075 aluminum upper and lower receiver with maybe probably laser etch. I don't think this is CNC, but anyways, CNC body and with laser etching, full trademarks and everything. This one is a pricey one. So you know what? All you need to do is just change the bolt and you're good to go. Now this is a very hard kicking and accurate, decent MK18 out of RTech. Well, you guys might be asking like, what, GHK, all you did was just modifying the bolt and you call it a V3 and then selling the entire gun new? Well, according to GHK, they also did some modifications to the spring, the combination that goes inside the fire control group. Now, the overall, now I can tell the difference. When it comes to the fire control group, the older version of GHK ARs, that's the one thing I liked about VFC ARs. It's because when the VFC ARs, they had a much harder fire control group spring. So when it comes to functioning, it's very, very hard. It's kind of like, it's very clicky and very mechanical. However, when it comes to the older GHK versions, their spring is on the softer side, so it feels not as mechanical. So if you ask me on the functioning side, when you operate the gun, I like the VFC version. However, when it comes to the GHK version, you see, just based on what I heard, that you can already tell the difference, that it's got a hotter spring inside. And then the reset, it's pretty nice. However, when compared to VFC, I still think that the reset on VFC is more satisfying. Still, that's an improvement on the new ones. And now, let's take a look at the magazine, shall we? Now, let's talk about the magazine. When it comes, I really think that the version 2 and the version 3 feels just about the same. However, according to GHK, what they did mostly, it's I will say it's mainly inside the magazine instead of outside the magazine, because outside they weigh just about the same and it feels just about the same. However, I know there are some like big discussions on the magazine, and based on my personal experience with the two magazines, I think the version 2, it actually spits out more gas, and then the version 3 magazine, it spits out less gas. Well, one of the big difference they did is that inside the two chamber, that if you watch our old grading system videos that we actually did analysis on the magazine, that you will know that the GHK magazines comes with those two tubes. Yep, one it's for the liquid gas, another one is for the gas. You know, so by the time you fire, the gas goes out, and the liquid gas turns into gas, goes into the gas tank, and then eventually the gas goes out. So what they did on the version 3 is that they actually add this little cap inside. So because when you are firing, let's say full auto, it's a big explosion inside. So if you haven't seen our what happened inside the gas blowback gun, go back to our old video that we actually show you exactly what happened inside the magazine. Basically a big boom. The liquid gas, it's boiling inside, and so by the time the gas comes out, some of the liquid gas might pop from the tunnel, and that results in much faster cool down. However, when you have the cap added, the liquid gas is not going to be able to, pass through that easily. So that actually gives you a much better gas efficiency. So, which I think is a really great part. So, you know what? I think I can do a very quick demo on how the full auto works on those 2 magazines. Okay, let's charge some gas into, this is the version 3, and then this is the version 2. Version 2, that's charged at 4 seconds. Okay, when you're firing full auto, I think the version 2 magazine cools down in a much faster fashion. Let's see. See, and then it actually spits out some gas. And then on the version 3, let's see. Okay, full auto. See, now I emptied 2 magazines, right? That's charged 4 seconds for each, and let's take a look again, okay? Let's see, 4 seconds. You see the liquid gas coming out already. Now the version 3 magazine. That's the difference it makes. Right, for the rest of the parts, I think, nothing fancy. Well, the good old Magpul parts goes onto everything. The buffer tube, it's regular spec. And then when you want to use a real Geissele rail onto this, I think it fits just fine. So nothing fancy, nothing special. It's a good old M4 DT MK18. Sorry for those ones who wants to see us reviewing the PDW. You get a MK18. All right, let's talk about the part I'm slightly not okay with. I think it's the hop adjustment tool. Overall, I think that this is actually a very smart idea. I still remember the moment when GHK, they designed this and then turned it into production, that lots of the manufacturers, they actually got inspired from it. And yeah, they make the metal version, and this is the plastic version, in which that you tuck it into your gun, and then the hop-up adjustment, that all you need to do is just spinning. And they're pretty cute that they actually add this little arrow. If you turn it, let's say, counterclockwise to increase the hop-up, and then clockwise to decrease the hop-up. Once again, very good concept, but wrong use of material. I know this one is it's made with definitely cheaper material. However, we did run into some issues when it comes to the hop-up adjustment. First of all, I think the hop-up on the GHK AR this time, at least the accuracy is much better than the stock ones. Back to my stock one, that I have to upgrade the hop-up chamber to, let's say, at the time, I really think that the ones that worked out for me was the older version of the TNT hop-up chamber. The newer version didn't work for me. And then also the good old GBL, they call it the Captain America hop-up chamber. I think these two work the best for me. However, because of the TNT hop-up chamber, it runs with a proprietary spec, in which I have to actually chop the hop-up bucking shorter in order for it to fit. This time, the GHK hop-up chamber inside the stock version, some people didn't like it, but personally, based on the test that we just did, I think it actually runs pretty well. However, for the hop-up adjustment tool, that's the thing that actually gave us a little bit of problem. However, still, I want to talk about the proper way to use this adjustment tool, okay? Apparently, when you rack the bolt, the screw is actually located right here where the bolt goes. It's like here. So basically what you do is that you can tuck this tool into it and make sure you kind of like wobble it a little bit, shake it a little bit to make sure that it gets into the screw. So this way that you can actually fully adjust it instead of, you know, like spinning it in some fashion. However, it's just not turning it. So once you get it into position, I don't think a lot of people would start adjusting like because this friend of mine, he was really disappointed with this thing. So technically, when I asked him like, show me what you did, he had the tool inserted into the gun and he started adjusting. This is in fact very, very risky. It's because this thing is made out of polymer. The hop-up chamber itself, it is also made out of polymer. And it's got a very strong spring with a big, giant, heavy bolt locked to the rear. So if you accidentally touched it like that, the whole set is gone. You are gonna mess up the thread inside and you will also break this tool. So please make sure you don't do that. Then what's the proper way to adjust it? Well, rack the slide to the rear, tuck it into the proper position, shake it a little bit to make sure that, okay, it's finally in position. Rack the bolt to the rear, release the slide slowly to make sure that you know, this thing is actually pushing on the tool. And this way you can start spinning and do the adjusting. However, this is the part I'm not really super happy with. It's the, you see how flexible it is? You know, like, this is not precise at all. Despite the fact that yes, the concept is really good. So I highly recommend if you have this set up, go get the Samu ones. They have the metal version made, which makes the adjustment 20 times better. This one, it's like, you know, it's so soft, and then by the time you spin the screw, that you're not doing some like fine adjustment to it. You're doing some like, yeah. And also another thing I don't like about it is that this thing, it is really fragile. So because, you know, for people who mess around with airsoft guns, we have like big hands, and then you know, we're in the middle of the battlefield that we want to do the adjustment. This thing breaks easily, and then if the screw on the hop-up chamber it's a little too tight, like right now, it's not gonna spin again. You see, it's stuck. So you know what? I will take it apart, show you guys what's inside, and then hopefully that we can get this thing back.
A few moments later.
I actually enjoyed how easy it was to take it apart. Like, it was really good. Very easy to unthread this, and yeah. However, if you want to take off a barrel out of MK18, you might need a wrench like this. So you know, you have like all the tools and whatever to get it cranked open. But yeah, now let's talk about the hop-up. To be honest with you, I'm actually pretty satisfied with the accuracy right out of the box. Like, based on the review that we just did, the 3 rounds of test, this thing is pretty accurate. At the range of 30 meters, it hits on the target, and mostly in the center, which I like that a lot. And yeah, even there's this one BB that it didn't make the sound. It actually passed through from the middle in the little gap. It's like boom.
Bye, have a great time.
Which I think is really cool. But this is the magic that GHK did. And I really do appreciate the concept that they introduced to the airsoft community, in which that allows there are some like other manufacturers would produce the hop-up chamber similar to this fashion. Okay, then you might be asking, like, is it Marui compatible? And I would say it's somewhere in between, because so apparently the way it works is that it actually comes in two separate pieces, and there's this hole, and then the tool goes right inside, and when you spin it, that you can actually, now it's, you see, it's slipping, like probably because it's too tight. So when it comes to the hop-up adjustment, please make sure you don't overspin it, because I don't think it will work on this. Yeah, but the concept is very simple. When you spin the tool and then this wrench spins, that adjusts the screws located right here. And this screw is gonna push the lever. That's the leverage, and then that's the arm, and this is the leverage. And by the time it gets pushed by the screw, that it will push the arm down, which I think personally it's pretty nice. And there's this big fat O-ring to make sure that everything falls into place. And if you want to take it apart, that I think personally I would grab a small flat hat screwdriver, and then just kind of pop this part open a little bit, and also on the other side. Yeah, and you want to be gentle with this hop-up chamber right here, because everything is made out of plastic. It will break. And remember, when I talk about screwing up the thread, this is the part, because everything in this metal plastics, and so, you know, when that big giant chunk of metal that hits the tool and the tool pushes the screw, and even see, this part is even open. Yeah, the thread is gonna die instantly. It's an instant kill. Okay, now once you have the clip removed, then you can easily open it up. So you see, this is the screw right here, and then that's the other side, and then the thread, it is very, very thin. However, I do like the concept of having this arm right here. That's the arm, and it comes with nub. There's this hop-up nub. So just in case if you bought our Friction Pro, the orange nub can go in here. It's gonna work just fine. And overall, I think the hop-up performance out of the stock bucking, I think is really good. This one is slightly different when compared to the Marui version. Instead of having 1 ear on the side, it's actually having 2 little ears that goes to both sides. According to GHK, that this actually holds the bucking in a much better fashion. Yeah, well, the performance didn't lie, it was pretty good. However, if you want to modify it and turn it into like the Marui spec, the barrel, it is Marui spec. And then you can put a Marui bucking, and all you need to do is just trim the sides. For me, I just cut it off. I cut the entire thing off, and it will fit just fine. So this hop-up chamber, it will take Marui spec barrels and also buckings. All you need to do is just trim the ear. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's my only problem with the gun so far. The rest of it, I think it's pretty decent. Alright, time for the close-up shots. Okay, here I will show you a quick little trick with how I install my hop-up chambers. So what I do first is that I will install the bucking, and to make sure that the contact is right in the middle, there's no like it's not cricket or whatever. And yeah, what I do here is a little cursed, that a lot of time I will super glue it. People hate this method, but for me I like it a lot, because that means perfect air seal. And yeah, since I don't fire my gun that often, I don't fire like 32 rounds in a second with my gas blowback rifles, I think this bucking will last quite a bit. So usually when I add it, I will do like a few drops of super glue on the ring to make sure that it gets that perfect air seal. And most importantly, it wouldn't give you that the tilting problem when it comes to the installation. So that's just my cursed trick when it comes to hop-up installations. But okay, now without the super glue, that you can still do it. And then after that, what you do to this chamber right here is that you place it into it. And I will say my trick is to do half of it. And then here's the arm, and then put the contact in. And then put the other half on it. And then clamp it hard to make sure that you can take a first look to make sure that everything is aligned. And then that's the clip. Put the clip in, and then eventually it will clip into place. It will hold it for now. However, to do the fine adjustments, I will highly recommend it to, you know, like to stick it into this tube first. Okay, now that's in, and then I will install the screw right here, and then use the tool. I'm glad it's still usable, but it's just, yeah, it's a fragile tool. All right, let's see. Okay, get the contact in place. Alright, then I see the contact, and then finally I will fine-tune it to like turn the barrel right and left to make sure that the contact is dead center. And after that, back to the gun.
A few moments later.
Well, here comes the conclusion of this episode. I would say, personally, I do enjoy upgrades like this because, you know, because the most of the parts you can still swap parts together. So let's say if you have a very expensive version 2 that you can still save it, turn it to maybe like version 2.8, and perhaps by the time you switch to like the newer springs, maybe you can turn it into a version 3. So personally, I think that the parts are swappable. I think that's something really great out of GHK. And also, I really think that despite the fact that, yes, we didn't test it in the chamber, however, just based on the test that we just did with the version 3 magazine, that you can definitely tell that when it comes to full auto, that the gas efficiency is that much better. And also when it comes to the trajectory, despite the fact that, yes, the hop-up adjustment tool is on the softer and squishy side, however, the overall trajectory is actually pretty decent right out of the box. So I would say this gun, it's definitely, you can take it to a game if you are a rookie. If this is your first GBB rifle, I recommend it. And again, yeah, that's actually pretty funny that sometimes I do see some comments online that, you know, like, oh, quads are like GHK's fanboys and shit. Like, look, yes, I'm a fanboy for GHK, and I'm also a fanboy for BFC. I'm a fanboy for airsoft. That's the thing, because when there's something good, I talk about it. When there's something bad, I talk about it. I try to interpretate, I try to take everything apart so that you guys see exactly what's inside. And also that is just one gun. As I mentioned, there are many guns out there, and then even this is the gun that we receive as a sample. The others out of the production, they may be made in a different fashion, and it will perform in a different fashion as well. So, you know what we do right here is to open up the sample, show you guys what's going on, and in a scientific way. Well, that's it for the episode today. That if you watched till here, that you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, please make sure you do, and also do check out our website. We have something very special, perhaps the ultimate solution to the hop-up chamber that will be officially released by November 8th during MOA. So please, guys, stay tuned, and we're super excited about it, and we will see you very soon.